Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic / Non-Classic. This is episode number 791 and Doubleshot number 685. Two X-Men trades. First up, it is X-Men Blue, Volume 4, Cry Havok. Yeah, the thing is safe from an old Shakespeare quote. Cry Havok and unleash the dogs of war. This collects issues 23-28 of X-Men Blue. Yeah, there's probably going to be one more trade going to come out for this because the series is ending this month. Yep. Written by Colin Bunn. Artwork by, well, for the first 23-25, it's Jorge Manalia with the backup story for Meanwhile, done by Mike Perkins. R.B. Sylvia does 26, and Marcus 2 does issues 27-28. Yeah, mostly put because the original the past X-Men were out in space. We have to have a new X-Men in this book. So this team is comprised of Zorn. This is the Chuck Austin Zorn from Day of the Atom. We have Bloodstorm from Mutant X. Polaris, who's the leader. We also have Jimmy Hudson from the Ultimate Universe. This character is called Nightshade. She's actually a new character who's actually a follower of Wolverine. And Wolverine's own biological son, Dokken. This group is formed to take on this evil cabal consisted of, and of course, see in the back here is made up of Emma Frost, Miss Sinister. Yeah, when she showed up in this series, this was actually the first time she's actually appeared since X-23 back in 2010. Yeah, when she appeared, it was like good 7 years since she last physically appeared. And of course, Bastion. And thanks to these issues, we get two character deaths. We get death of Zorn. Yep, he gets killed off in here. So my guess is Marvel just doesn't care about characters killed by Chuck Austin, so let's just kill them off. Yeah, and he also kills off Bastion, which is probably by far the third or fourth time that he's been killed off. And Colin Bunn just brought this guy back just recently. Yeah, it was a little surprising. Apparently he built Sentinels to protect mutants instead of killing them, which is weird. Also, Bastion's got a beard now, which is very weird too. One thing I praise about these issues is that it also ties loose end from Rick Remender's Uncanny Avengers run. Well, at least for when he left. And that was Evil Havok. Yeah, it seemed like most of the time for the past few years, Marvel just did nothing with this at all. It almost seems like Marvel just didn't care about wrapping up stuff Rick Remender had when he left. Like, the whole thing with the Red Skull, that was basically a loose end that needed to be tied up. One of them being Rogue's head. Yeah, thank you, Gary Duggan, for tying up those two loose ends. And you got to thank Colin Bunn for tying up a loose end with Havok, because he's been inverted since Access back in 2014. Yeah, he's been inverted for 4 years now, and he hasn't really done that much. I mean, since Avengers of Access, where has he appeared? I mean, after Access, he disappeared. He did show up, for what I remember, he did show up for one issue of Uncanny X-Men. And then after that, he disappeared again. Then popped up again for a year. Popped up in Secret Empire, playing a minor role in that. Barely acknowledged of a role. Basically, his role was being the main villain of this series. And then with this, he just basically gets fixed. His scars go away. Yeah, those scars have been there since Rick Remender's story arc with the Apocalypse Twins. Yeah, so that's been there for a good, almost 5 years now. He's been there for quite a while. So, I keep thinking, why in the world would Marvel allow a plot thread with stuff with Havok going for so long? Because they don't care about plot threads. Yeah, plot threads of hanging for no reason whatsoever, and finally the whole thing with Havok is finally resolved. I think the reason why Bunn did this, and this is my theory, because he probably knew that he's going to be leading. He knew that Matthew Rosberg was going to have him lead the new roster for Astonishing X-Men. So he's like, okay, let's turn him back to the good, and let's get rid of that stupid scars he's had. So yeah, they got rid of the scars, and Bloodstar apparently got sucked into Zorn for some reason, though she's fine, and then she got killed off in extermination. But this by far was really good. And they do have a loose thing what's going on with the X, but that mostly is continuing the pages of Venomized. I get this book roughly 9.5 out of 10. It's a really good storyline. Also, Polaris gets briefly possessed by Malice. Yep. Basically, see the crying. That's actually my nephew. He's crying about something. I'm not sure what he's crying about. Next up, it is Ultimatum. Ultimate Fantastic Four / Ultimate X-Men. Yep. This mostly book collects the last 3 issues of both these 2 respective series. For Ultimate X-Men, it's issues 99 to 100. For Ultimate Fantastic Four, it's 58 to 60. And these issues are written by, well, it's not by the original writer. Oh no, he left long ago. The Ultimate X issue is written by a guy named Aaron E. Letty with artwork by Mark Brooks. The Ultimate Fantastic Four issue is written by Joe Pilecki, artwork by Top Cow Productions Inc. Penciler is Kirkham. Mostly put for these issues, it mostly takes place during the events of Ultimatum, where they find out what happened during the tidal wave stuff and Rogue. I don't really care for how the writer writes Jean Grey, where she's like, oh, she can't be trusted because she was on a drug that she probably got cured of long before this. I'm like, seriously, what is wrong with you, Jean? Not trusting Rogue of all people. In the regular universe, Jean Grey and Rogue are actually good friends. I don't know why in the world they had to create this conflict between the two of them. So what does Rogue do? She goes to Alpha Flight for help to protect them from a group of human sentinels, led by a man named William Stryker Jr. Yeah, I think they mentioned his father was a priest at some point. Yeah, and they protect him from that. Juggernaut gets killed off in these issues. Yeah, the Juggernaut. I think he's like the only official recorded death in the Ultimate X-Men tie-ins. And pages of Ultimate Fantastic Four is basically what the Fantastic Four are up to. Mostly it's about seeing like the birth of Johnny Storm when he was younger, and thinking of a fight with General Ross. And that's really much it. It's basically what the Ultimate Fantastic Four are up to during the events of Ultimatum. Though both stories ended with 2 continuing in their own respective in Ultimatum and the Ultimatum Requiem one-shots. Yep. This is actually a pretty good. I do like the tie-ins for this one. I just did not really care for how Jean Grey was written in the Ultimate X-Men tie-ins. Ultimate Fantastic Four, everybody's written to be perfectly in character the way it's supposed to be written. Ultimate X-Men, it's like, wow. It's like so drastic to see how much that... Oh yeah, and also the people should go to, one of course is Vindicator, who's actually John Rath from the Weapon X storyline. Yeah, apparently he's turned on a new leaf. He shaved his mustache off and he become a good guy and now become Vindicator. And of course, teaming with Sabretooth, just protect the Institute from Sentinels. And while this is going on, this is also the same period of time when Magneto snuck into the Xavier Institute and snapped Charles Xavier's neck. Yeah. So I would say of the 2 tie-ins, Ultimate Fantastic Four had much better writing with it. Ultimate X-Men, like I said, didn't care for how Jean Grey was written. Yeah, I think it was at the point where Rogue could easily just punch Jean Grey in the face for the bull crap she was spitting out of her mouth. It's like, oh, you can't be trusted because you're on drug. You were on a drug called Banshee, or I don't know. Let's see. You were not trusted because you're briefed by the Brotherhood, by Weapon X. Seriously, this was stuff in the past. Can you get over this nonsense? Yeah, I didn't care for Ultimate X-Men stuff, but I did like how Juggernaut died. He died very heroically. That's probably the big highlight of the whole thing is how Juggernaut's death was written really well, and Rogue's reaction to how he died. Pretty natural because the way they've written it, that apparently Juggernaut grew up with Rogue for some reason. They have passed together. They never slept together. No. They basically were good friends. Yep. I'm going to get this roughly a 9 out of 10. Mostly because I don't care for how... I didn't really like how Jean Grey was written. Yeah, she's written kind of the similar way when Brian Wood wrote her for those final issues of Ultimate Comics X-Men. Yep. So yeah, that's really it for this particular review. Stay tuned for my next review where I'm going to talk about a Deadpool trade and a Supergirl trade. Yep. You'll find out what they are in the next review, okay? Do see you there. Bye.